seems to be absolutely ridiculous, the whole thing. What on earth am I going to do with that microphone? Yes. What on earth am I going to do with that microphone? It doesn't bring out my voice. Get lost, huh? Don't be so scratchy. Don't be so scratchy. And I was in the wrong place. My head was cut off. No use doing this kind of thing if it is so difficult to get one head in the frame. It's Sunday. Sunday morning. Pois siitä, Meve. Sunday morning. Mene. Hop hop. Sunday morning, yes. I had a photo shoot of funerals yesterday. Turned out I had known the deceased some 30 years ago. He was an old man. Sunday morning. It's a Beatles song, Sunday morning, sleeping like a nun. I have wanted to make cinema for 35 years. No more. 38. 38 years. It's a long time, 38 years. Yet I remember the first time I ever experienced, ever had a kind of cinematic experience of life. It was in October 1974, yes. 1974, October, yes. I was studying natural sciences, biochemistry and organic chemistry in Oulu University. And I had my lodgings in a rented room of a police detective's widow, upstairs room in her house. It was, get lost. It was a two-story red brick house by the sea. Quite a nice place, yes. She was not very social, so it was quite okay to live there, and I had a nice view from the window. Then that afternoon, I think it was late afternoon, maybe 3 or 4, not much later anyway. The phone rang in the upstairs hall, and I heard her answer, and then she knocked my door and said that it was for me. I went to the phone, and there was my mother. She had been abroad somewhere. I don't remember, maybe Greece or Moscow or Yalta in Russia. And she had just arrived a few hours earlier, and so I asked her that how was the trip, and she said, oh, it was fine, and everything was wonderful and went smoothly, and it was well organized. And then she suddenly just started to cry and said that there's some terrible news, and there's been an accident, and that my brother was there beside her, and she would give the phone to him. And so So she gave the phone to him, and I said that, oh, what's happened? You have to tell me, and don't just mystify things like that. And he said that yes, there's been an accident, and a dear friend of mine had died in the previous night in a motorbike accident. He had crushed the rocks in a, how do you say it, when the road goes between two walls of rock. It's a kind of cleavage. And there had been either slush or water raining hard, and he had lost the control of the bike and crashed and died immediately. And they had found him sometimes in the early morning hours, and one of our common friends and his neighbor had been to my home and told him he had died. I was quite shocked. He was a very sweet young man of my age, and I still remember when I came from England in the previous May or June. I think it was the beginning of June, I think, in 1974 summer. And I had just come from England, where I had been abroad for over a year, and it was very difficult for me to understand and speak Finnish after such a long while. And I remember how I met him on the street, and we went to a cafe, and I didn't know lintu. Oh, and I didn't know how to order a coffee. I remember how he smiled at me. It was like a sun. His smile was like sunshine. Yes. Oh, it was very sad. Well, then I was in the phone, and then I just hung the phone and went back to my room. And of course, I couldn't be reading anything anymore. I was quite shocked, and I have always had a way to deal with this sudden bad news. It wasn't the first time it happened, and neither the last time. And I kind of shut them out, and then bit by bit, little bit by little bit, I let them come. One moment, and then out again. And one moment, and then out again. Then we are back here, and this is the hard reality, and no bad emotions allowed. And then I sat sometime in the room, in my room, and then I thought that I'll have a walk. I'll have a walk, and there's a place. Students studying architecture had a kind of a tavern restaurant called Rattorilupi in the old wooden houses by the market square on the seafront. It was on the second floor of the old house, and so I thought I'll walk there and have a glass of wine, and maybe walk some more and let it soak. The idea that he was dead. And so I went there, and I remember I had a trench coat and boots, I think, yeah, and jeans. And I had actually I think I had 2 glasses of wine, white wine. There were some students I knew, a couple, and I sat with them. I didn't discuss this accident with them, but we talked about something else. And it was a nice place. It had some music and very, very cozy and warm atmosphere. And when I left there, I thought I would walk around on the streets, and I ended up by the seafront. It was the wind was blowing from north, and the sea opened towards south, and the wind blew the water from the bay southwards, so that the muddy and sad-looking bottom of the sea had been uncovered, and it was October. I think it was 14th or 15th of October, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, there were still some leaves in the trees, and they were flying in the air, and it was dark already, and some lamps there. It was a very impressive scheme. The bottom of the sea and the water there, foaming white, and the wind. Me standing there with the wind beating my hair and my trench coat and my sorrow. And somehow it made a process, the peaceful existence before the phone call, and then the walk, and this skin in the beach where the wind blew kind of open everything. It blew off the water, and everything was there. And it was a very emotionally impressive experience, yes, and visually impressive too. And I've always been kind of visual person, because the visual reality cannot deceive you like words. People lie always. Words can never reach the level of reality that's natural to visuals. And I think it's a very childish feature in a way. Children depend on the visuals before they learn to speak, before they learn the symbols, before they learn the rules, before they learn the God. I think I agree with Philip Pullman that God is a very bad thing, a very, very bad thing indeed. And that night somehow placed a seed inside me. The changes come from inside. It's a need for something different. And I still stayed in the university for the next few months, November and December and part of January, and then I left. I had a pretty dramatic car accident with a 3 days old brand new car, and that was the last straw that took to made me decide. I left the university and started my way towards idea of cinema, the idea of a presentation of words and visuals combined to deliver a feeling. Oh, how's that now then? Yeah. Not so very clever, is it? Well, anyway. And till today, I've never made a cinema, except those few with the bank loan. Yeah. Why? Why? That's a big question. Why? Of course, I'm a woman, and I had to have my children when I was 25, not when I'm 55. That's a fact. And for me, there is usually just one thing that's important. When I had my kids, they were the most important thing. And now when they are grown men, they take care of themselves. I'm not responsible anymore. Responsibility is a very serious thing. It's undivided. You either have responsibility and you carry it, or you don't. There's no way in between. For me, there are many people who make compromise about things, but I'm not that kind of a person. And now I have a possibility to make my cinema, but being an old woman is not a joy in this world, and your creditability is somewhere below there somewhere, at the floor or beneath, at the floor or beneath the floor. Yes. During the last 6 years I have been approaching certain people with the idea of making cinema. I've been getting some sort of patronizing pity. Oh, like I wouldn't be able to think, like I wouldn't have any brains at all. Oh God. Pity. Nothing real, nothing substantial, nothing you can act upon. Just the fact that, oh, you are quite illegal. What was it you wanted to do, huh? Do you think you can cope with the boys? No, you can't. Isn't it lovely? I live in a country that's supposed to be a civilized country, a civilized democracy with equal rights for men and women. Yeah. 35 years is a long time. It's a bloody long time, yes. There's nothing illegal in it. They're quite legal. And they take care, there are no evidence of anything else. Things happen now. And, but neither is there any justice. No. Justice is something. Law and justice are two quite different things.